This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
August the 3rd be with you on a Monday morning. Welcome to your work week and welcome into a numbers game. I'm Dustin Sweetelson in for Gil Alexander, as always, with Kelly Bidlin. We got you covered for the next 3 hours here on VSiN, the sports betting network. It is Major League Baseball's trade deadline, and it has been very active. And the thing that jumps out to me, Kelly, as we're sitting here, news is flying in left and right with moves being made, teams planning for not just this year, but next year as well. If you like action, you're listening to our voice. If you like action, that's what today is for. The baseball trade deadline is one of the rare spots on the calendar where Major League Baseball actually delivers excitement for the fans.
It really does. It really does. And it brings everybody into it. We were talking about this kind of end of last week. I think it's perfect timing, right? You get a lot of other sports that get out of the way for baseball. And look, this is where a lot of people are kind of landing on baseball for maybe the first time this season and going to ride it out the rest of the way. And you get to figure out what teams are actually going to look like.
Big move was made on Saturday. Tarek Skubal going to the Dodgers. We'll touch on that in just a moment, but since we've been sitting here for the last hour or so, a couple of moves have gone down. Most notably, the Philadelphia Phillies remaining aggressive. And if you remember my appearances on the program a few weeks ago, I did go all in on the Philadelphia Phillies. Since then, they've been one of the worst teams in baseball, like legitimately since the All-Star break. They've been terrible. However, perhaps they've fixed whatever ails them right now. A couple of moves in the last 15 minutes. One, acquiring Luis Arraez, the second baseman from San Francisco, former batting average champion in Major League Baseball. But more importantly, when you think about the playoffs, where hits are at a premium, where contact really matters, you can't just rely on the long ball. You have to manufacture some runs. I think it's a really shrewd addition for the Philadelphia Phillies in their lineup with so many guys that swing and miss, who go for it all with the home runs. I like the addition of Arraez to come in, play a little second base, also play a little DH, potentially, first base if Bryce Harper needs a blow here and there. I like this move a lot. The move that I love, though, is the addition in the bullpen. They add left-handed reliever Brooks Raley, who's been really good when healthy for the New York Mets the last few years. He just hasn't been healthy all that often. And this is key. One of the big offseason moves for Philadelphia was grabbing Brad Keller to become their setup guy. Keller was having a really, really good season. Then he got injured a few weeks ago. Since he's done for the year, that was a huge void, especially for the postseason. You can't have enough legitimate veteran bullpen arms. I think this shores things up for Philadelphia. I also don't know if they're done. I don't know if they're done moving here. Aaron Nola goes tonight for the Phillies. I don't know how you trust him, needing him to start as the fourth starter in a playoff series. There are so many other pitchers available. Casey Mize from Detroit, Reed Detmers from the Angels, Robbie Ray sitting there in San Francisco, Foster Griffin in division, Dustin May. You can still find another arm to add to this rotation. Philadelphia is being aggressive. We anticipated Dave Dombrowski doing that. That is his MO as a front office executive in Major League Baseball. And the Philadelphia Phillies, 19-1 to win the World Series. I already have a little bit at 14-1. I will not be going back for more. But I do think you could do worse when you think about how a team sets up for a playoff series with Sanchez, with Wheeler, and Luzardo in that rotation. It's a really strong season for Philadelphia, who's now 10-1 to win the National League. That, to me, is the value, is the 10-1.
Yeah, that's what I was just pulling up. 10-1 to win the NL. I might join you on that, buddy. I got a big bet on them to make the playoffs. That's looking good. However, I guess, wild card race, right? They are in right now. The Padres only one game back of them. The Marlins 1.5 back. I think great points. I love the Arraez edition because we talk about this team and the power bats in it. Just to add more contact, like you said, Dustin, get some players out there on the bases. I think that's going to be a huge addition come the playoffs.
Yeah, I love the move for them. A weird move that on the surface you go, hold on, what's happening here? The Toronto Blue Jays about an hour ago acquired right-handed starter Jose Soriano from the Angels. Now, from the Angels' perspective, I don't totally understand it because Soriano has shown so much upside. Detmers has shown upside. But clearly the window for their contention is not anytime soon.
Yep.
So they're moving on from Soriano. They get a bunch of prospects back from the Blue Jays For Toronto, I love this. They just traded Kevin Gausman, aging guy, expiring contract. They have Shane Bieber going tonight. Maybe they trade him at the deadline. They have a few guys still under contract in this rotation. But think about how the landscape is going to change in baseball potentially next year. If we do actually get a salary cap, this is a young, controllable, right-handed arm who at times has pitched like an ace, at times has pitched more like a middle-of-the-pack guy. I think he has a ton of upside. And just the thought of him pairing with Dylan Cease at the front end of this rotation with Trey Savage, it's certainly an intriguing option for a Blue Jays team having a really down year, coming off Game 7 of the World Series, losing last season to the Dodgers. But they're making a statement that this is one down year. We plan on contending next year, and we're not just going to let guys walk away and not have plans down the road. I really like the way that the Blue Jays are operating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. This is one where we saw, a reminder, he saw Soriano floating around in that AL Cy Young race earlier in the year. I mean, he was on that board, floating around, 4 or 5 names down for seemingly a couple months. So, yeah, maybe a little bit more of a build towards the future move for the Blue Jays, but I like it. Reset. This season didn't go how you thought it was going to go. Great. You can start looking forward to next season.
But the big story from the weekend, and everyone is still complaining about, is Tarik Skubal is a Los Angeles Dodger. Color me shocked that actually went down. No, I mean, this was always the team that made the most sense. And I am in the rare camp where I think this is good for baseball. People do not agree with me, and I don't understand what you don't understand. Dynasties are the lifeblood of sports. Having an enemy to root against is the key to getting people to watch them, whether you like them, whether you hate them. You are going to be watching the Los Angeles Dodgers this year because they are the new evil empire. They have added the best pitcher in baseball. Tarik Skubal now makes this Dodgers the best rotation we've seen in a very long time. In fact, the Dodgers could field a second rotation with the guys that they have available on this team. But I love this. And if you don't like the Dodgers, you don't like that they did this, then you should be putting way more pressure on your team to make big, bold moves like this, because any of these contending teams could have had Tarik Skubal. Yep. The package that nets him to the Dodgers was not so overwhelming that Milwaukee couldn't beat it, that another team couldn't come over the top and give them what they wanted here. But those teams are scared. And Skubal meant more to the Dodgers than anyone else as they go for a three-peat. If you get the VSiN Daily, the newsletter put out by Bill A.D. every day, you saw yesterday Circa moved the Dodgers from minus 105 to minus 130 to win the National League pennant. They go from plus 185 to plus 140 to win the World Series. You and I were hanging out here at Circa together Saturday night when the deal went down, and we went, well, this should be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%, 100 plus 150 over at DraftKings. Are the Dodgers now to win it all? I think it was, we were here Saturday night. It came down. I don't think any of us were shocked. Any of us were surprised, especially to hear it was the Dodgers. You're surprised by, the haul they got back, though. This is not a lot. You just said it. Where these other teams that we thought were going to be in the race, kind of shocking. This is the way the Dodgers ended up with
Show me you're all in. See, the Dodgers are all in, and everyone complains. Right, yep. Everyone complains that the Dodgers, well, they make all this money from the TV deal. They were bankrupt, and Major League Baseball's hooking them up. Don't let these owners lie to you. They all make money hand over fist. They're all going to sell their franchises for way bigger ROI than they ever spent in the first place when they bought them. This is a hobby. This is a toy. This is something they do for fun. And if you're going to do it, you should do it to be a champion. You should do it to win ball games. Los Angeles is committed to that. I know they have more money. I know they have more exposure. But that doesn't mean these other teams couldn't have done this. In fact, the Dodgers showed how much smarter they are than everyone else and how they operated here. They sent prospects that they got from Michael Busch a few years ago, prospects they got from Matt Beattie, a utility guy, to San Diego a few years ago, and they moved them in this trade to Detroit, okay? Not only are they spending, but they're being very smart in the way they operate, year in and year out, with the way they maneuver in their minor league system. Dave Roberts said it after this trade went down, quote, "There's nothing that we did that no one else could have done. I just love our front office." He's right. Anyone else could have had Skubal. If you're complaining the Dodgers spend too much, you don't like the deferrals, that's an offseason conversation. If you're looking in a vacuum at this deal for Tarik Skubal, you have nothing to complain about. The Dodgers are actually doing what a small market team's supposed to do, which is when you sell off pieces, see how you can maximize the assets that you get in return. I love this for Los Angeles, obviously. They are rightfully the World Series favorite at plus 150. They're going to have a rotation now. Skubal, Yamamoto, Ohtani, Snell, Glasnow, their second rotation, Emmett Sheehan, Robleski, Sasaki, Stone, Lauer. What I'd caution everyone here, though, is just because they feel inevitable doesn't mean they're a lock. We know there's no locks. You bet on sports long enough, you understand a lock doesn't exist. We've seen so many elite teams that look like they're going on a historical warpath get knocked off by a team that is hot at the right time, that maybe is too young and too dumb to not know what they should know, and they just move on with some momentum here. I don't think the Dodgers are the sure thing that everyone's acting like that they are right now. Tyler Glasnow hasn't pitched since May 6th. Blake Snell's been out since May 9th. He's made one start this season. If you remember the 2003 Yankees, go look at that roster. It was perfect. They lost the World Series to the Marlins. The 2001 Mariners won 116 games. They have nothing to show for that. The 2011 Phillies were as loaded as anyone in recent memory. Bupkis. Anything can happen in a 7-game series. And these same Dodgers, who were loaded a year ago, they needed 7 games to get past the Toronto Blue Jays, who are sellers at today's trade deadline. Mm-hmm. And based on history with Tarek Skubal, if the season comes down to a game in Seattle and he's at 99 pitches, they're not winning that game either, because he refused to go into 100 pitches in the playoffs for the Tigers a year ago. I love Skubal. I love what he brings to the table. I love the way that the Dodgers set up. But just because it looks good on paper, paper doesn't win championships. Doesn't happen that way.
Yep. I mean, these baseball series in the postseason get very random. You just mentioned 7 games. It took them with the Blue Jays last year. I think this opens up some betting opportunities to look on the other side, Dustin. I think you and I will discuss some here today. I mean, look, Dodgers are fantastic. They're awesome. If you really want to make that bet and have it in your pocket till the end of the season, great. I think there's some value on the other way.
God bless. God bless. You will hear from Tarek Skubal when we return on his move to Los Angeles. Plus, who are the biggest contenders to knock off LA? I'll give you my top 5 on the other side of a numbers game.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
On the next edition of Follow the Money, the MLB trade deadline is here. What moves get done at the buzzer? How big has the deadline been? We will discuss. Matt Vasgersian, great timing here, is going to join the show to break it all down. Plus, our best bets future-wise, NFL and college football. Paulie Howard is back from vacation. Follow the Money, 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, now on SiriusXM Channel 158. Check out the website for all of our betting tools and analysis, or get the VSiN Watch app.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on a numbers game, Dustin Sweetelson with Kelly Bidlin, hanging out the Circus Sportsbook downtown Las Vegas. You can always catch the show, Sirius XM Channel 158, YouTube TV, the VSiN Watch app, radio affiliates across the United States of God Bless America, and Game Plus in Canada.
Yeah, there you go, Dustin.
I remember.
Game Plus. Canada loves you now.
It's a big day here. For people that don't know, the college football betting guide has come out over at VSiN.com. I encourage everyone to check it out. I got to tell you, I was perusing it earlier today, Kelly. A lot of things jumped out to me. One, 22 of us predicted the conference champions, the college football playoff, and the winner. 7 are on Notre Dame. Notre Dame, a double-digit favorite in 11 of 12 games. They're -7 in the other outlier. They haven't lost as a double-digit road favorite since 97. Since 2000 as a 7-point road favorite. They're 35-0 straight up, 21-14 ATS. Those trends courtesy of Brad Powers. Notre Dame, the two big ones on the schedule, -10 at BYU, -7 home against Miami. If they lose both of those, which I don't think is likely, they will not be playoff bound because the rest of the schedule is so bad. But it's so crazy going into a season knowing that their entire hopes and dreams of winning a title this year after being held out of the playoff, it's 2 games.
Yep.
Win those 2 games, take care of business. In fact, split those 2 games, they're in the playoff.
7 of our 22 on Notre Dame?
I almost was.
I was just going to ask you if you were. Okay.
I have Notre Dame in the title game, and I'm a pretty big Notre Dame hater. I have 2 blind spots with college football. I can't stand Notre Dame, and I can't stand Ohio State. They're my 2 least favorite programs. I just find them to be extremely obnoxious, and their assumptions that they're always going to be there. Now, they're there quite often. But Notre Dame with expectations always scares me.
That's why I'm sitting over here smiling, because what a great year of sports we've had. We've got the Knicks making a playoff run, England flirting with a World Cup, and then we got Notre Dame coming in as the college football favorites. Oh, boy. Yeah, it's
-800 to make the college football playoff. That is quite a price to pay, but yeah. I honestly, unless CJ Carr gets injured, I don't really envision a world where they don't. 4 people are on Oregon. I am in that group. We'll talk about that throughout the week. 3 on Texas, 3 on Georgia, 1 on A&M, 1 on Virginia Tech, 1 on Alabama, only 1 on Miami. But here was the shocker. Jensen Lewis, the only person to take Ohio State to win the title. Last time I checked, Ohio State was the favorite to win the national championship. So that is certainly interesting. Check it out, VSiN.com. Start today for just $9.99 or get a full year and save 50% with a VSiN Pro annual subscription. You'll also get our VSiN NFL betting guide, the Fantasy Life Fantasy Football Guide, and everything we do at the website. Sign up now for as little as $9.99.
These odds are crazy. We have 6 teams at DraftKings between 6 to 1 and 8.5 to 1. It's wild.
Well, we live in a world where there's the haves and the have-nots. Yep. And it's a little bit different in college football than maybe some other sports. For example, let's go back to baseball. Dodgers plus 150 to win the World Series. The jump on the board is the Yankees at 6 to 1. The Brewers are 10 to 1. The Braves are 10 to 1. The Rays are 14 to 1. Red Sox 15 to 1. Cubs 16 to 1. Then you have the Phillies just under 20 to 1. And then it gets way longer from there with teams that I don't know if you can really totally trust. So when I think about the teams that I believe are capable of knocking off the Dodgers, right? Because that's where we're at. Everyone's rooting against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Even though I think what they've done is great for baseball, it doesn't mean I enjoy it. I think that's a really big caveat that I need to bring up. People complaining on social media because I threw something out that the Yankees used to do what the Dodgers are doing, and it was awesome for baseball. Like, we all hated it. Yeah, that's the point. Mm-hmm. You hating it. You caring in any regard. That is the goal here. Yeah. That is the objective, making you feel something. If you were apathetic about what the Dodgers were doing, it wouldn't be good for the sport. Your hatred is what fuels this now, and now you have a chance to put your money where your mouth is. You can fade the Dodgers. You can find someone to root against the rest of the way because they are getting so short in the market, it automatically creates value because that money, that number, has to go somewhere else on the betting board. So why don't we do a little exercise here and figure out which of these teams is the best shot to knock off the Dodgers? When I started compiling my top 5 here, Kelly, the number 5 team was difficult for me. I went back and forth on a few. I'm not considering the Rays, even though I think they might be able to find something in Freddie Peralta, who they traded for on Sunday afternoon. Yeah. They'll probably be able to turn him into something here. I thought about them. I couldn't get home. I don't think the lineup's deep enough.
All right, real quick, though. Isn't that one of these main teams? Like Rays, Brewers, right? When you see what ends up getting traded for Scooble, like these fan bases, you got to be upset, right? Why couldn't they have gotten involved?
If you're the Brewer, I think the Brewers are they're the ones that failed the most here.
Biggest losers?
Yeah,
Brewers.
Because I think Scooble puts them even with the Dodgers. I think they're as good as the Dodgers with Scooble just because the way a playoff series is played, because the way that they play. But more importantly, I don't know why they're so scared to give up prospects. I understand they're on a budget. I acknowledge that they're a small market team and you have to hold on to players you think are special. But I'd argue that every single year they call up someone from their minor league system who ends up being special, who ends up being good. Whether it's Jackson Churio or Bryce Terang or finding Jake Bauers having a career year, they're always just developing guys into serviceable to good, maybe even great players at some point in Jackson Churio's case. I don't really understand the hesitation of being so scared to give up one of your big guns.
Yeah.
Because this comes down to one thing. If you win a championship, everything you do is justified. I don't care. I don't care if you never get back again. I don't care if you never make the playoffs again with this group. If you win one title and the Brewers have never won a World Series, you got to go all in here, man.
Yeah. Those were the weirdest ones to me. I think, especially for Dodgers not a shock. Again, what they gave up was a little bit of a shock to me.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that the Braves didn't have a better offer. Although I don't think their farm system has the upside that it had in years past. The Yankees didn't need a starting pitcher. It never made sense for them.
Right, sure.
The Rays were interesting because at just a rental and the way they develop prospects, kind of like Milwaukee, you know what? You put Scooble up there at the top of that rotation, you're going to compete with anyone. But when I'm looking at my 5 teams that I think that can knock off the Dodgers.
Number 5 was the Rays, right?
Well, number 5 is the Boston Red Sox.
Ooh, number 5 is the Red Sox.
And in case people missed it, the inevitable Dodgers that you're all saying are going to win the World Series, they just got swept at home by Boston. Swept. Didn't win a game. Okay? So tell me how the Dodgers are just going to run through everyone. Baseball's weird. 7-game series, anything can happen. And in a 3-game series, they didn't get one against Boston. I'm going to put the Red Sox at 5. I might be a little bit low on 5 on Boston, but we'll see how this plays out as the season goes on. We get to the postseason. What they're doing is now legit. I wasn't really a big buyer. I don't know if they can win the American League, win the World Series, but I have to at least acknowledge if you're going to sweep the Dodgers, you can certainly beat them. And by the way, going back, the Red Sox are on a crazy run against first-place teams. They haven't lost to a first-place team since June 21st. That's 42 days. 4 series sweeps, the Dodgers, the White Sox, the Rays, and the Yankees. Since June 25th, Boston is 28-5. That is the best 33-game span in the history of the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
When you're making history for the Boston Red Sox, you're doing something special. They've been around a minute.
Did you just say all those series were sweeps?
They swept all those first-place teams.
That's incredible.
They haven't lost to a first-place team in 42 days.
That's incredible. And like they've played a fair amount, too. There are going to be teams that have not played that many over that time.
Yeah, Dodgers, White Sox, Rays, Yankees.
Yeah, not bad.
That's absurd.
I'm with you, and I like the simple reasoning of, well, when you sweep the Dodgers, they kind of have to start.
I have to. Believe me, before they swept them, my thought was, Cincinnati, Chicago, Cincinnati. Chicago, because, I love the offense, but I really wish they would add a starting pitcher here. Maybe it's a Robbie Ray. Maybe it's a Reed Detmers. I know they added Kevin Gossman. I think they need another one. They should get Edward Cabrera back, but I think they need another arm to go into this rotation behind Gossman, behind Boyd, behind Imanaga once we get to the playoffs. So that's number 5, Boston. Number 4 is Atlanta, because Atlanta at its peak, if they can go back to being their identity, which they've been for a while but have kind of fallen off here, if they can mash and have the offense going right, they can hang with anyone. I love Atlanta. Chris Sale at the front of the rotation. I'd like a little bit more behind him. But the reality is the Atlanta Braves have the upside to compete and beat the Dodgers, although maybe I should put Boston ahead of them. At number 3, I'm still standing by the Phillies.
There you go.
I'm going down like it's the freaking Titanic, man. I'm playing my violin till I'm drowning, but I still believe that Philadelphia, with the rotation, with the veterans in the lineup, situational hitting in October, but more importantly, it's Sanchez into Wheeler, into Luzardo. The bullpen is solid. They have a puncher's chance. But the number 2 team, and I'm very curious before we get to the trade deadline at 6 p.m. Eastern today, what the Milwaukee Brewers wind up doing, they can't do nothing. But based on what they have right now in place, the core of this team, the rotation with Mizorowski and Kyle Harrison and Logan Henderson, and the upside that they offer as a squad, I think Milwaukee is a very dangerous potential matchup for the Dodgers, because if you can get Miz 3 times, you have the advantage. By the way, 2 earned, 10 strikeouts, 7 innings against the Angels on Sunday for the Miz kid. But the offense is athletic. They use that to their ability. They put the ball in play. That is a tough recipe if you're going to play October baseball against anyone out there in the league. Yep. More on the baseball trade deadline, plus some news coming out of the NFL throughout the morning. This is a numbers game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime.
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on a numbers game, Dustin Sweetelson hanging out with Kelly Bidlin, Circus Sportsbook, downtown Las Vegas. Looking back at the Dodgers, acquiring Tarek Skubal over the weekend, vaulting, one of those words, going up to the top. One of them, plus 150 to win the World Series right now. I neglected to give my number one team before we went to break last segment, who I think can knock off the Dodgers. And that is the team right under them on the betting board right now at 6-1, the New York Yankees. Now, there's a caveat here.
That was a quick tease. That's the quick tease, not the long tease.
Yeah.
I forgot, so here it comes right now.
Yeah, I forgot to bring this up. I did mention I only did 4 of them. They're 6-1. And the reason they're 6-1 and they're not like 4-1 is because Aaron Judge is injured. And based on a lot of the news you're hearing, or at least the rumors and speculation out of New York, is there's a lot of questions as to Aaron Judge's health and how that rib's going to look once he does return, if he returns this year for the Yankees. But if Aaron Judge is healthy, if Cody Bellinger is back in this lineup, and they throw out their rotation of Schlittler, your favorite for the Cy Young, who goes tonight, and that number may disappear after his performance tonight. Max Fried, who when healthy is still an ace. Garrett Cole's finding his form. Rodon, Weathers, Will Warren, right? So many arms. 2 or 3 of those guys are going to the bullpen. The bullpen could use some work, but we talk about mashing, man. They've got plenty of guys who can keep up with the Dodgers offense if their pitching does their job. On top of that, I thought the move they made yesterday was awesome. The Yankees acquired Luis Garcia from the Nationals. This is a guy who for a couple of years has been really solid offensively. This year, hitting .283 with an .873 OPS, 23 homers, 76 ribbies, 48 runs, left-handed bat playing in Yankee Stadium. There's no reason to not anticipate the power numbers even improving playing in the Bronx for him. I love this as an insurance in case, Judge isn't 100% or someone else goes down here. But if Judge returns and he can be like 75% of his former self, and Bellinger can deliver what he does with Rice, who's continued to mash the last couple weeks here, I think the Yankees legitimately can knock off the Dodgers. But that is if Judge is healthy. If Judge is not healthy, I don't know if the Yankees are in the top 5.
Yep.
That is how big of a drop it is. That's what he means to this team. But the Yankees would be the team to me that has a chance to knock off the Dodgers at 6-1. You got to figure out how risky you want to be.
Stanton coming back too, right?
I think the Garcia move is because Stanton may not be coming back.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Or Judge may not. One of them may not be coming back. That's kind of my anticipation here. That's why they went out and got Garcia.
It is wild. It's wild that we're talking both Dodgers and Yankees being at the top of the board and making these moves, and still with all these guys that you would expect to return before the playoffs get there.
Yeah, the Yankees need to make a move, though. They need to shore up that bullpen. They traded Doval over the weekend to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They could still use some help on the back end. I think a reunion with Luke Weaver, who's now with the Mets, cross town. He can pitch in New York. He's having a career season as a setup guy here for the Mets. That absolutely tracks for them if they want to make a move. Some other moves that went down that we really haven't touched on from over the weekend. Freddie Peralta goes to the Rays. He's been horrible. A 4.99 ERA, 113 strikeouts, and 113 2/3 innings. He's allowed more hits than innings pitched, 120. The Mets got the Rays' 15th, 26th, and 27th prospects back. You know why that stings? The Mets gave up their 3rd and 5th prospects to Milwaukee to acquire him.
Man.
But I think for Tampa Bay, you made yourself way more difficult in a short series, because now that the rotation sets up with Rasmussen and then McClanahan, maybe Peralta gets the 3 if your analytics department could get him going right. Nick Martinez, Griffin Jacks, Ian Seymour maybe as your swing guy. I like the options they're going to throw out there. The offense is a little weird for me for the playoffs. I don't know if they have enough pop, but if I'm going to be high on Milwaukee because of the way that they play the platoons and the contacts, the athleticism, I probably should be higher on the Tampa Bay Rays. They feel like the Detroit Pistons in the sense that
they do. They very much do.
Like, they have to go so hard for the regular season. They have to try to be the 1 seed. They need to get that advantage because they're not good enough to not have that advantage. They're just not as deep as they usually are. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's very different when you're talking AL, NL as far as going for those buys, right? Rays need to win this division, beat out the Yankees to get that buy. Over, NL, we're talking Dodgers, Brewers, maybe both cruising to that position. But yeah, Rays have to do that. And I keep staring at this Yankees division price, Dustin, like plus 140. It's still a little tempting. I know they haven't played great, but when you're talking about these guys we think are coming back, it's still pretty tempting.
It is, because at some point you would just assume Tampa Bay just falls back a little, just a little bit here.
They just haven't.
I mean, they're almost 20 games above 500 at this point, and they are the 1 seed. And
it's wild.
It's absolutely insane. Other moves that happened over the weekend. We also had the Cubs acquiring Kevin Gausman. I really like this move for them. I still want them to add another arm. I just think they need so many pieces in that rotation because they've been banged up with injuries. Justin Steele hasn't thrown a pitch this season. Also, they lost Cade Horton, who had a ton of upside coming off a great rookie season a year ago. But Gausman's a vet. This is what you're looking for this time of year. Guys who can make an impact. You're going to have ice water in their veins when they pitch in a big game. This is a starter who's made 385 career starts. And even at his age, in his mid to upper 30s, he's still good, man. 21st in WAR among starting pitchers this year. ERA's not great at 4.38, but I think you get him because of the experience. You want him to kind of calm everyone else down, to give you belief that you have a chance to win every time he goes out there. And in October, I really like the addition here of Kevin Gausman for the Cubs. If the Cubs would have gotten Skubal, they might have been the number one team to take down the Dodgers, because I just think their offense is legit and not going anywhere. As it stands now, they're just like on the edge there of teams that I think could knock off the Dodgers. Other trades, the Braves acquired Tyler Mahle from San Francisco. It's okay. It gives them another warm body, but I mean, he just doesn't miss enough bats to really be a difference maker for me. A move that I thought was really nice was Chicago, the White Sox. They added Luis Castillo from Seattle. Bad contract, but you know what? If you're the White Sox, this is kind of a really good fit for your rotation. You have young guys in Smith and Martin who have not been through this before, have a ton of upside, look like front-end guys. Luis Castillo isn't a front-end guy anymore, but he brings that savvy veteran experience, and he can be someone for these guys to lean on in these critical moments. I just thought it was a good fit on and off the field for Chicago. And for the Mariners, they got Sir Anthony Dominguez, Nolan Jones, who a few years ago with Colorado looked like a potential superstar. And I think the White Sox might add more arms, bullpen, rotation, because in case you missed it, they're in first place. Chicago White Sox are 3 up in the Central. Cleveland's been in a tailspin. 3-7 run for the Guards. Chicago is going to win that division, it looks like.
Yeah, that's wild, man. They are got a sizable lead now and don't feel like they're going anywhere. So it's another team. Like we're talking about with the Rays. Like we kind of expected them to fade at some point, have not showed that.
No, there's some staying power here. I actually am starting to believe, and I was looking for ways to fade them. I mean, the Tigers, after trading Skubal, by the way, to go with Gil Alexander's bet he gave out on Friday, for them to have the most wins in August, they're still very much in the hunt for the wild card. If you look at the standings right now, Detroit's 2.5 back. Mm-hmm. And they're right there with Baltimore. They're a half behind Seattle. They're a game back at Texas. They're 1.5 back of Minnesota. It is not crazy for Detroit's offense to carry them and propel them still into the postseason. And then some other rumors coming out. John Morosi reporting the Phillies, Brewers, Diamondbacks, Padres remain in the market for a rental starting pitcher. Could that be Clay Holmes? Seeing reports from Joel Sherman that the Phillies, Rays, Rangers, D-backs scouting him in his rehab start on Sunday. Zach Neto is being floated by the Angels as they are tearing it completely down, and he's a really good shortstop. Was really mostly a defender for a while, but has added the stick the last couple seasons, been strong in that regard. And then I love this quote from San Diego manager Craig Stammen about A.J. Preller, their GM. Quote, "I expect him not to sleep and to be on the phone a lot. San Diego's always aggressive. They have not made that big move. Could Mason Miller be on the move? Rumors are saying likely not him. Maybe it's Adrian Morjon, the lefty out of the bullpen, likely to be traded out of the San Diego team. But they're right on the edge of everything. They're a game out of a wild card.
What's your best guess on Miller?
He stays.
Stays. Yeah.
Because they're not going to get the haul that they want. And maybe they'll get that in an offseason once we have an offseason. But I think they thought that they were going to recoup one of the big prospects that they got back when they sent him they traded for him from Oakland or from the A's last year, and they were just never going to get that type of quality.
But that's the way they should be operating, right? Like this, like you said, we're only what are they game and a half back right now? Like this is it's a team that's still in it. If either get a haul and move them or stay put.
San Diego's a game back. Philadelphia, Arizona, your second and third wild cards tied, and the Cubs 4 games up on them. That last spot's there. If Arizona is hanging around with the year they're having, it's like
I know
it if they could add some arms, they're interesting. Clay Holmes makes sense for them. Don't have to give up too much for him. But we're on watch right now. We're on watch for a lot of people. Casey Mize, Luke Weaver, Foster Griffin, Clay Holmes, Gleyber Torres, Dalton Varsho, George Springer, maybe Shane Bieber. I mean, the baseball trade deadline, it has been very fast and furious. Over under 2.5 more deals done before we get out of here in about 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Oh, that's a great number. I'm going to go under 2.5.
You think the activity happened early? The guys woke up.
It's 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's not that long of a time.
Yeah, I get it. VSiN College Football Betting Guide. It's out right now. Check it out. You can get in for as little as $9.99. Save full year on 50% with a VSiN Pro annual subscription. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe. Zach Cohen with a great write-up on the Heisman Trophy this year. We'll do more baseball looking at today's card with Greg Peterson. That's next.
Over 3,500 circus survivors were on the Rams, and in an excruciating game, the Rams lost.
The carnage has arrived.
It's got to be the most disgusting survivor loss in the history of this tournament.
Never bet Thursday night games.
It just rips you apart.
That's the worst survivor loss anyone could ever suffer.
The team of death has arrived for 2025.
New episodes Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN. Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the sports betting network.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Dustin Sweetelson alongside Kelly Bidlin here on a numbers game in for Gil Alexander all week long on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Thanks for hanging out with us. However you may be tuning in, SiriusXM Channel 158, YouTube TV, the VSiN Watch app, radio affiliates across the United States, God Bless America, and Game Plus on Canada.
Boom.
More developments coming in as far as the Phillies and their acquisitions earlier today. In case you missed it, Philadelphia being aggressive. They had Brooks Raley, reliever from the New York Mets, and Luis Ariz from the San Francisco Giants. Todd Zolak, who's covered the team for a long time, reporting, with the addition of Ariz, Bryce Harper's going back to the outfield. Ariz will play second base. Alec Baum goes from third to first. Bryson Stott becomes your third baseman from second to third.
Jeez.
A lot of movement, and I got to tell you, the one concern I have with all of that, and I think maybe because we're all fantasy-brained when it comes to looking at players, the Phillies defense just got a whole lot worse because Ariz is a butcher with the glove. And Baum, I guess you can hide his defense at first now.
Yeah.
But Harper in the outfield used to be on roller skates, man. And it's been a minute since he's been out there. This is, and by the way, your other option to move to the outfield is Kyle Schwarber at DH. So it's a slow pitch softball team. Maybe I need to walk back some of my comments. It's a good thing that there are three pitchers. My handicap of why I still believe in them are strikeout artists, because putting the ball in play is a dangerous proposition against Philadelphia this year. All right, joining us now to look at the baseball card for later today, he is Greg Hoops Peterson. He hosts the Baseball Betting Show. It's available wherever you get your podcasts, and he writes up baseball bets every day over at VSiN.com. Follow Greg on X at @GUnit_81. Greg, before we get to the baseball, Kelly and I were having an off-air conversation. We went to Barry's on Saturday night together, and the thing I was trying to bring up was we've kind of jumped the shark with how the steaks are prepared now. And my belief is that when you go to a steakhouse and you order medium rare, they actually give you rare. The real medium rare would be ordering a medium these days. Does that track for you as someone who spends a lot of time eating steak?
For one, we need to go back a little bit further. Who's we? Because I didn't get an invitation for this.
Oh, man.
Hey, come on, guys.
We were there on a working dinner, sort of. So that's sort of truthful.
Hey,
we were doing
some
planning. Don't worry, we're going to Texas Roadhouse with you, Greg.
I will go to Texas Roadhouse anytime you want, Greg. I love Texas Roadhouse.
Hey, everyone's invited to that, just like I need to be invited to these. Hey, I need to address that, but when you go to a steakhouse, they're typically going to go a little bit more on the under rather than the over because they don't want to overcook it. And very rightfully so. I do not blame them one bit for this. So I would say that you're probably not going to get rare if you get medium rare. But that said, maybe you're somewhere in between rare and medium rare, if that makes sense. Like you have to go from having like 5 or 6 notches to more like 10.
It just makes me feel like softer because I feel like a man is supposed to order a rare to medium rare. But if I order rare, it's still mooing when it gets on my plate. That's my only concern. All right.
I can't do rare. Yeah, I can't do that. Medium rare or medium.
Yeah. I think I'm starting to. I think I'm just getting older. I'm going to medium. Let's talk a little baseball, though, my friend. You have a bunch of plays that you like coming up in a small slate here. Let's go to your Brewers, who disappointed me over the weekend by not trading for Tarek Skubal. Hopefully, they make a move. And it's Brandon Sproat hosting Bubba Chandler. Milwaukee minus 149, plus $1.23 with the Buccos. Total's 8. What do you want to do here?
I want to go with the over here because I know that both of these pitchers have been much better recently. Brandon Sproat has actually given up 3 runs or fewer in 12 out of his last 14 starts. Flip side of things, Bubba Chandler in 7 out of his last 9 starts, 3 runs or fewer allowed. But that said, it's a Pirates team that even though things have been a little bit shaky for them post All-Star break, this is a unit that has been a top 3 team in terms of run creation this year. Brewers continue to be in the top 6 in terms of runs per game, and I'm hoping that they pick up a bat because for the Brewers, they've actually been a bottom 6 team and home runs on a per at-bat basis. Jake Bauers, fortunately, he avoided major injury last week. He's been the man that has been leading the way in terms of homers, but I do think that you're going to be able to get quite a few runs in this game, especially with the fact that the Pirates bullpen just has not been great. They pick up Camilo Duvall at the trade deadline. I don't think that does a whole heck of a lot of good for them. They've been a bottom 8 team in terms of bullpenning race, so that does put me in on the Brewers on the money line. I do think that you get both these teams to be able to generate some good offense. I like that 8.5 to the over.
All right, Greg, 8:05 Eastern, another big game here in the National League. Dodgers at the Cubs. Dodgers about minus 120, 125 favorites out there. Total set at 8. The Dodgers going with the great undecided on the mound is what my board's telling me. How you playing this one? Side and total for you here.
Yep, and right now we are seeing undecided. I was thinking Justin Robelski is going to be getting the start for the Dodgers, and if so, he's doing for a little bit of aggression. He's only getting about 7 strikeouts per 9 innings, so he pitches to a lot of contact. Wind should be blowing in a little bit here in Wrigley Field, but this is one of those rare days where the elements doesn't come into play as much in Wrigley, because with that wind, it's only going to be like 5 miles per hour, if that. So it's not like it's a massive impact on this game. And Matthew Boyd has been a guy that's allowed the ball to be put in play a lot. Since coming off the injured list, giving up only about 6.2 strikeouts per 9 innings. Additionally, you've got a Dodgers team that averages 5.7 runs per game away from home. I think that the Dodgers can just power their way to victory. So that 8.5 total, I do like the over, and I'm going to be in on the Dodgers laying about a minus 120 or so on the money line.
Greg Peterson is our guest. The Baseball Betting Show is available wherever you get your podcasts as he breaks down every game on the card and write-ups over at VSiN.com. Logan Webb and the Giants are on the road in Texas, taking on the Rangers. I don't see a pitcher listed, but when I looked last night, it was Cal Quantrill. Texas minus 125. The Giants plus 104. Total is 8. What do you want to do in this matchup?
Yep, but I'm thinking we get Cal Quantrill in some form or capacity. They might utilize him as a bulk guy. They might have him actually start. We'll see what happens there, but I'm going to be in on the San Francisco Giants. Put me in on the better pitcher in this case, because for Quantrill, while he keeps things out in front of him, sub-4 ERA, again, he's given up a lot of contact with about 6 strikeouts per 9 innings, and for Logan Webb, it's been a career low 7 strikeouts for him as well, but since the beginning of the month of June, he's rounded into better form. He's been giving up only about a 3.24 ERA since the beginning of the month of June. And additionally, for the Giants, they just traded away Luis Reyes. They might trade away 1 or 2 other pieces as well. It's been a no good, very bad, terrible season for them. But offense since the beginning of the month of June has been much better for them. Rangers continue to be a bottom 10 team in terms of a run creation. I won't doubt it if perhaps they pick up a guy as well. But even if they do, guy's probably not going to be available until Tuesday with how the trade deadline has worked. So I do like the Giants here, plus money on the money line, and I'm going to take a shot on the 8 to the over as well.
All righty, Greg. And the Blue Jays Astros here later tonight, 8:10 Eastern, first pitch there. Looking at the total in this game.
Yep, I am, because for the Blue Jays, it's too late for them to say sorry this year, but they trade for Jose Soriano. Like, I have no idea what's happening there with the Blue Jays. They are completely out of it, but hey, they traded for Jose Soriano. That said, for the Astros, we have seen a nice come up for this team. The bullpen ERA since the beginning of the month of June, 291. Ever since they've gotten back Josh Hader, they have been so much better in that bullpen. And Christian Javier, since the beginning of the month of June, he's got a 3 ERA, albeit a small sample size. He's only pitched 12 innings, spent a lot of time on the injured list this year, but we've also seen Shane Bieber pitch much better recently as well. Right now, he's been posting up an ERA of 5.74 with 2 home runs allowed per 9 innings, but you take a look at those last 4 starts. 2 runs or fewer allowed in 3 out of his last 4, and he's backed up by a Blue Jays team that just has not been able to produce runs all season long. Bottom 2 team in terms of run creation, Kazuma Okamoto, lone guy on the roster with 12-plus home runs. So that 9 total, like the under, and I'm in on the Astros on the money line.
Yeah, I think the Astros are the play. I was looking at that last night. It's weird, like you said, with Javier, been used as a reliever, been used as a starter. The numbers aren't totally there, but Houston sweeps Texas over the weekend. I think that they might win the West. They're in first place right now. They're up 2.5 after a disappointing start. Getting some of these arms back, I think that the Astros might be a bit dangerous the rest of the way. He is always dangerous, and he's running in a town near you. He's Greg Hoops Peterson. Check him out in the Baseball Betting Show. Read him at VSiN.com and on X at @GUnit_81. Thanks for the time, my friend. We will eat a steak together soon.
Yes, please. Give me the invite for this one, and I always appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Awesome stuff from Greg. Football season's almost here. The sharp money's already moving. Here's how the sharp plays see it first. Exclusive data feeds from our 4 major sports books, thousands of sharp bettors, professional syndicates tracked in real time before the market moves, all of it filtered, sorted by version 6.0 of their AI model. That's the machine, now the receipts. Every play logged, every result public, records going back to 2011, live logs since 2021. It all feeds a live performance terminal. Check it out anytime, no login, no paywall. Nobody else in the industry runs one because most records couldn't survive it. The Sharp Plays record gets audited daily by their own haters. No steam chasing, no stale trends, no recycle plays. Follow the Sharp Money at sharpplays.com today. The LSU Tigers stole headlines in the offseason. Some people don't take Lane Kiffin seriously. Others like